You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. All right. Are we all set? What's going on, everybody? I'm a little displaced right now because of this impromptu hurricane that showed up. Was it a hurricane or a tropical storm? Barrel? I don't know. But here we are. And here I am going to bring you some updates for this week astrologically. We can definitely see a culmination, or not a culmination, but like a literal manifestation of Saturn in retrograde in Pisces and Neptune in retrograde in Pisces, as sometimes that those retrograded outer planets and kind of intermediate planets will create certain events based on the sign that they're in. So in Pisces, that's water. We're seeing some events with water happening globally, um, like the hurricane that we have currently experienced in Texas, where I am. So yeah, but nevertheless, I want to get right into the transits and astrological updates and forecasts for this week. It is because it is quite a week. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Um, so I want to go ahead and talk about what's going to be happening on July the 10th. And what is that, Wednesday? Yeah. So the Sun in Cancer will trine Saturn, which is retrograde in Pisces right now. And trine indicates a positive conversation between the luminary of being the Sun and Saturn being retrograde in Pisces. And so with this relationship, this is kind of where we could look for emotional safety versus the well-being of others or the collective, because Pisces is about the collective and Cancer is about our own personal emotional well-being. So I like to think about this in an aspect of, where are we paying more attention to our own emotional safety, and is that affecting something that we want to create, or some type of healing capacity, or some type of influence that we are giving to the collective in an emotional capacity? Because these two water signs, Cancer and Pisces, have to do with emotional faculties and spiritual things. So also, how can we integrate the two? How can we integrate our own emotional wellness into something amazing for the collective, something that is connected to some type of love and unconditional love and God-like love, which is what Pisces indicates. We can see bigger storylines. Um, there could be new developments or realizations in our spiritual journey, and how those new realizations are bringing us closer to our goals and accomplishments, or our purpose or calling. We could be receiving clarity on what's been in the way, how we've been getting in our own way of our own achievements, or the things that we said we wanted to do or create for ourselves. And was this due to a lack of boundaries or a lack of attention to our own spiritual wellness? Because that Saturn in Pisces is coming to create boundaries and structure around something that is boundaryless, like an ocean. It's like putting a buoy in the water, or something, if you will. We're creating boundaries. We're creating discipline for our own spiritual mastery. And so then on July 11th, that Thursday, Venus in Cancer will trine Neptune in retrograde in Pisces. So, like I once mentioned earlier, a trine is a positive conversation, a positive dance, or a positive collaboration between two planets. And so, this Venus in Cancer and Neptune in Pisces trine is beautiful and dreamy, can be mysterious, This can indicate themes of blissful love or delusional love in some kind of capacity. Um, it could also mean that it could be that a new relationship with self love and emotional safety is easing us into surrendering to whatever is no longer aligned. Almost like we got a taste or a glimpse of what could be in our true desires, things that we resonate with, and we're starting to feel a disconnect with what no longer resonates with us. And also, are we willing to let go of an illusion or a delusion so that we can make room for something in the realms of beauty, art, creativity, aligned relationships? Because Venus represents all relationships. Um, in a lot of aspects, it represents romantic relationships, but definitely could be a lot of times it's also relationships with women, partnerships, and yes, romantic relationships. Venus and Neptune retrograde can bring psychic messages in our dreams, intuitive downloads, just something purposeful and meaningful and relatable in daydreams. And this could perhaps be revealing the next step to our beautiful contribution of some sort that we've been wanting to put out into the world. Because Venus is our planet of beauty, art, love. It is how we like to get money. It is what we find beautiful, something that we're creating, what we find pleasurable. And so this could also mean that uh, with the beautiful creation that we are desiring to put into the world, there could be a component of health and wellness that Neptune is bringing up for us, something that we could have been neglecting, um, that is attached to some type of wellness, beauty in our own aesthetic. This could be some kind of addictive behavior that was unhealthy and how it was keeping us away from our desired aesthetic, like late night eating, which is something that I struggled with. I want to have this, I want my body to look great and feel great, but is late night eating keeping me away from that desired goal? Um, and so those things are coming up, and there's a connection being made in our minds about what's keeping us from getting or achieving the things we said we wanted for ourselves. And then later on that day, on July 11th, the Venus will ingress into Leo, and ingress just means move into a different sign. And so it's going to ingress into the sign of Leo. And so by July 12th, Venus and Leo will oppose uh, that Pluto that's there in Aquarius, because Leo and Aquarius are opposite signs. And so there's going to be a feeling of opposition here, of kind of like maybe a tug of war or some or a seesaw, if you will, with that Pluto in Aquarius and Venus in Leo. The moon will also be in Libra at this time, so I feel like there's a sense of, so this has something to do with relationships and something perhaps being torn down, a rift, if you will, a karmic uh, a karmic rebalancing or something like that, um, with the in the area of love and relationships. Because when the moon is in Libra, um, it is going to be an aspect or communicating with this opposition. And so, in the terms of relationship, Libra has everything to do with where is the relationship unbalanced. And so, and Venus in Leo loves to give love, is very generous and loves to love, but also low key uh, likes to do things to receive what they want. So there is a theme of some type of imbalance in relationships coming up with this. And so this could also indicate a beautiful transformation, because Pluto is our planet of destruction and the tearing down of something to build something better. We could be examining if we are satisfied on a deep level. So there's a tearing down of something something in the Venusian areas of beauty, life, relationships, creativity, art, those things, aesthetic, and we're aiming to build something better. And so something had to blow up, implode, or break down to make room for something better. And so this could be a project, a business venture. It could be you could be receiving a new makeover. There could be new revelations or discoveries of something that needs to transform in the body to usher in some desired aesthetic. This could have something to do with skincare, diet, your hair, wardrobe. Something is changing, but it's changing from some type of shakedown or rift or breakthrough. Something fell through in a certain sense, and so a destruction or tearing down of something. And this tearing down of something could shake your faith. We could be feeling discouraged about something that didn't go right, something that is connected to our contribution and our own goals. But Venus is encouraging us to not be discouraged about plans that are falling through or that have fell through. Do not be afraid of receiving a no somewhere. And this Leo Aquarius axis can also bring in power dynamics between women and friends, themes of control and manipulation. We could see some triangulation happening, some frenemy type vibes, right? Passive aggression in some instances. And this could feel like someone is low key hating or being envious. And also, you could be the one low key hating or feeling envious towards someone. So, if that's the case, you definitely want to be open and honest about feeling that way because those feelings are always connected to something deeper, a deeper story, uh, perhaps an unmet need in some instance. And so there might be something to worry about. There might be tension between people, between business partners, friends, cousins, mother daughter, some type of female to female relationship, right? Or feminine energy to feminine energy relationship. But this also can pertain to romantic relationships and feminine to masculine relationships as well. Um, Something could be making you suspicious in relationships or friendships, side eyeing something like, it's not adding up. Pluto could be removing something. Our trust could be disrupted. Um, when it, we could be, like I said, discouraged, or our trust could be disrupted in, excuse me, the direction that we're traveling towards. Landing us in our uh, flight, or freeze cycle, in our stress cycle in some type of way. And so we may feel disappointed or discouraged, but Pluto gives us that no to tear something down and to rebuild something better. And Pluto's aim is to transform something that disempowered us in life. At its core, Pluto is always going to come in and kind of bring the pain and bring the rain, the storm, in a sense, the chaos, because there is something that is in the background being prepared to give you and restore your power back. Something better is coming. So the higher powers are asking us to not give up because there are other choices and options. There's something new being built. It reminds me of that meme when there was a picture of how the collective or some people see Christ. Right, it was a picture of Jesus, and Jesus took away this little girl's teddy bear, but behind Jesus' back there was a bigger teddy bear. It's kind of like the idea of what's happening right here. You may feel like you have failed or that you are going the wrong way, but there is a transformation and something better behind the bend here, if you will. And so I don't know about y'all, but yeah, I can't take another demolition uh, after seeing like how this storm knocked down my fence. Can I get a better fence? The powers that be. Yeah. So no, I get it. It's like, oh God, another knockdown. But there's another setup for something great. So I'm hopeful. And July 15th is a very significant energy happening. We have Mars in Taurus conjunct Uranus in Taurus. And so Venus is the ruler of this conjunction because Venus rules Taurus. And so Venus has had quite a year. You know, she just completed a cycle, a 4 year cycle, and where she became a full Venus, and then she was under the sun, and now she's emerging as the evening star, meaning that in the evening, if you look up and see this big star when the sun is setting, it's Venus. So Venus, you know, Venus is kind of a big deal right now. She's ruling this conjunction between Mars and Uranus, and so this is an extremely powerful and volatile energy that we are embarking upon on July 15th. This could be volatile in the terms of relationships in Taurus types of themes like our land and money and possessions and our own values, our self values. Um, this could also be very exciting. You just never know because you know it's a mixed bag with Uranus because Uranus represents sudden and unpredictable changes or events. And so this conjunction will also be conjunct a fixed star that is known as Agul, which is not a very it's a destructive energy. So it's something to note. Um, Algol is based upon the myth of Medusa. So there's a losing our head with this energy, if you will. But this we could see something on a larger collective scale take place. This could have something to do with politics or money, such as the banking industry. We could see something that makes us like gasp in a certain way, not to scare anybody, but it's a pretty it's a pretty intense energy. And then personally, this could be some sort of breakdown or breakthrough. Explosive anger could erupt from disappointments. Perhaps it's time to be assertive and stand on business. You know, stand on business, for your business ventures. We could find ourselves also being bossy or overpowering or in a stubborn mindset uh, about money or a project or some type of area of beauty. You know, did she mess my hair up? You didn't do this. You know, these series of emails, right? This Facebook post is not what I said to do. So we can find ourselves in some kind of tense situation with another. One big caution is that we could see accidents. So you want to be, you know, take it slow that day, that next Monday. Look both ways. We can see accidents with this Mars and Uranus conjunction. Um, and then there could be some type of sudden destruction of the land, something destructive or aggressive towards land because Taurus represents land and Mars represents war, cutting, tearing down of something, aggression. Also, it represents courage and valor. And so we could be standing up for our land in a certain way. We could see some type of theme of that. This could also be a restructuring of some sort of land, renovations, repairs, or additions to our land. Uranus chaotic and sudden energy could bring unexpected destruction to land, like it did my fence. Right? And what else got messed up? Something else is messed up. We saw some water underneath our tile. So there's that Saturn and Neptune theme coming up. Um, along with this Mars and Taurus, like, you know, just like literally it can mean destruction to land, or this could be an amazing project. Suddenly you realize I have the means and the energy and the time and the vacation to put that pergola up. And so in order to build something new, you have to tear something down. You have to dig up the land and you so that you can lay the pipes and the foundations and the poles and all that stuff. So this could be something positive as well. You could quite literally be tearing something down on your land so that something more beautiful can be, you know, in its place. So with this conjunction, you want to be mindful as you move through the world. There, we could see an awakening about something. We can see a sudden change, something chaotic. Um, and so this is just a pocket of time where life can be unstable. And so you want to make sure that with this Taurus uh, transit that you are grounding yourself to the earth and to remain in your power and in your sovereignty. Because that's another Taurus, that is another Taurus signification, is that we tend to look for security and stability outside of us, but that security and stability is actually internal, it's inside of us. And yeah, so I believe that that is all we have for this week. I know next week we're going to be seeing some more situations that I'll talk about, like for perhaps, I mean, for example, July 20th, Mars enters Gemini. These are fighting words, cutting words. Mars in Gemini has an AK-47 for a mouth. We'll get more into that. We also have a full moon in Capricorn coming up next week. Uh, the grind continues, right? So thank you guys for rocking with me and listening to another episode. I am signing off until next week. And if you want to have a reading to see how these energies are affecting you personally and where they land in your chart, in your area of life, I will drop a link down below so that you can book a reading with me. And as always, it's been a pleasure. I hope this message found you in the highest light with the best intentions. Also, generally, generally speaking, take what resonates here and leave the rest. This not all of these things pertain to you. It could pertain to somebody you know, and sometimes it's from week to week. This ain't even got nothing to do with you. Okay, so take what resonates, leave the rest. Stay in your power, stay in your sovereignty. Beware of accidents. Beware of fake vibes, and focus on your beautiful creation in the world, because you about to be somebody, baby. Okay? You already are somebody. So I will talk to you next week. Thank you guys for listening to me. I'm Brandy Williams. Talk to you later. Bye. You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast.